Hello everyone, it's Jamal Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. So let's hop across the pond for a moment. I did a show yesterday talking about the Irish border issue. I have to be honest, I don't know how Theresa May is going to square this. And I don't even think Theresa May knows how she's going to square this. To make a long story short, Brexit is taking place, meaning they're in negotiations on taking Britain out of the European Union. In taking Britain out of the European Union, they're stuck with somewhat of a dilemma. One part of the country is in the European Union, the other part of the country is not in the European Union, and they don't necessarily want to break up Ireland in this way, and they don't want to put a border between Britain and Ireland, Northern Ireland. Now, how is she going to square this? Because she said multiple things, meaning Theresa May, multiple things that conflict with one another. A, we're not going to have a customs union. B, we're taking us out of the single market. And C, there's not going to be a hard border. You can't have all of those things. You can't have all of those things. Now, Boris Johnson was one of the original Brexiteers. He was one of these people who was on board this Brexit train and thought Brexit was going to be fucking awesome. One of the things that Theresa May did when she took office was essentially put Boris Johnson in her cabinet. You wanted to be a part of the Brexit thing? Fine, you're going to be a part of the Brexit thing. You're going to be sitting right here with me, with people looking at you, seeing as you were one of those people who wanted to push this through. Boris Johnson doesn't seem to understand what the government's position on this is. And to be fair to Boris Johnson, I don't think the government understands his position on this. Let's take a look at this report that came out. Downing Street forced to answer questions over Northern Ireland border after Boris Johnson's latest Brexit bungle. Downing Street today refused to back blundering Boris Johnson after his latest Brexit gaffe. The bundling foreign secretary said it will be possible to have very, very minimum controls at the border between Northern Ireland, the Republic, between Northern Ireland, the Republic, which is also the UK's only land frontier with the EU. But Theresa May has repeatedly insisted there will be no hard border or physical infrastructure along the divide. A number 10 spokesman was today forced to repeat the government's position after it was thrown into doubt by the leading Brexiteer, Mr. Johnson. The spokesman repeatedly declined to say whether the foreign secretary was speaking for the government. The government's position has been, as I have set out a number of times, no hard border, no physical infrastructure. What I'm telling you is that the government's position remains there will be no hard border, no physical infrastructure, okay? They're just repeating. The foreign secretary made clear himself there is no need for a hard border. Mr. Johnson unleashed a fresh wave of confusion over the Northern Ireland frontier when he spoke at a Telegraph Brexit event on Thursday. He claimed it would be possible to have very minimal controls at the border and that the government does not want to see any return to a hard border. There is no need to do that. He admitted the issue has understandably a great deal of political emotional charge, and it is all too forgivable for politicians to wish to be absolutely certain about how things work. Well, yeah. I mean, there's one last part. Liberal Democrat Brexit spokesman Tom Brake of the Best for Brits campaign, of Best for Britain's campaign, said the only thing that is minimal seems to be Boris's grip on reality. The government for months have said there will be no controls at the Irish border, and now there could be some. They seem utterly clueless. They do seem utterly clueless. The government needs to explain what it's going to do. It needs to explain what it's going to do. I don't think I'm crazy on this. From the very beginning of the Brexit thing, I said to myself, how are they going to pull this off? How are you going to retain some level of access to the single market while at the same token getting controls into the things that you want? Meaning you want sovereignty while at the exact same token you want access to the single market. You can't get everything that you want. I want ponies. I like unicorns. I want an ice cream cone every time I wake up in the morning. I don't get those things. In the same way that you're not going to be able to get all of the things that you want in Brexit. Meaning, Theresa May can't have it both ways. And the reason that the EU called off the negotiations, saying Ireland first, was because in the same way that it seems Boris is unclear on what's going to take place. EU is unclear on what's going to take place. Everyone is waiting for Theresa May to give an explanation on how she's going to pull off all of these conditions that she's put forward. And right now, I don't think anybody knows, including the people in her cabinet. So Stay tuned. We'll keep an eye on it. I follow British news, so I'm always fascinated by this. And we'll see what happens. All right, guys. If you enjoy the content, feel free to share, like, subscribe, and of course, as always, Patreon. This one wasn't going to be quick. This was just me flagging some of the things that are taking place. The Brexit thing is heating up. When the EU pulled out of the negotiations for this, it highlighted the thicket that these guys were in. What are you going to do? How are you going to square this circle? How are you going to solve this very specific issue? If you don't want a hard border, fine. How are you going to do it? And right now, it doesn't seem like anyone has that answer, including the government itself. So, I'll leave it at that. All right, guys. Have a good one.